Welcome to the Bison Coaches Corner. I'm Jeremy Jorgensen, joined by head men's basketball coach Saul Phillips. And Saul, you got to cut down the nets this week. How satisfying was that?
Well, that's the culmination of a lot of hard work by our guys, by our staff. Always nice to end the season at home cutting down here. It's the first time we cut the nets down at home since 1981.
Long time.
I was 9 years old at that time.
Yeah, I'm right there with you about that, yeah.
So I was probably, we hadn't even heard of Def Leppard at that point yet. So that's how far back it was.
Yeah, no, that's very exciting. Now, South Dakota, you beat them that night. Let's break that game down a little bit. And, it was a great game. You really got on them quick, kept them at arm's length, really opened it up late, and kind of blew them out on Thursday night.
Well, set the tone early. We held them for quite a while without a field goal. That allowed us to just kind of keep piling points on gradually and cause separation. But no, it was a stellar defensive performance by us, I thought, on Thursday.
As we look at some of the highlights, from the game, I thought South Dakota played well down in Vermilion, but this game really got away from them early.
You see a nice penetrating kick. Taylor Braun penetrates and kicks very, very well, and LA was the recipient. There's Taylor getting into the paint. Again, you forget his size. At 6'7", he's got a very good burst of speed. There's Marshall doing what Marsh does, just finishing as well as anybody in America. Looked like he took a little bit of a bump there, but no call. Taylor off screen and roll action. Again, he can hurt you in so many ways with his size and his speed. Marshall again finishing. I don't know if I've ever had a player that finishes through contact with such touch on the basketball. The ball hits the rim soft. LA just refusing to give up and just kind of probing with that dribble. That change of direction or that change of speed is really good for him. Taylor with spot up. Again, all the things that he can do. He can also look you in the eye and just shoot over top of you. That's a very, very, very wide array of things he can do. Trayvon, when he's hitting three, watch out. He can extend that defense, and he really opens things up for everybody else. Marshall, this move is pretty right here. He almost dunked that thing, but uses the ball fake to get the defender in the air and finishes. You can see Chris Kading there. That you can't contest it much better than that. A really good play by Norris from South Dakota. Corey Brown doing what Corey does, gets it up soft out the rim. And notice in that one how quickly he got back up off the floor after landing. That is some very good athleticism, something that I was never able to accomplish as a player.
Hey, Saul, now Mike Felt I thought was a big story in this game. You're developing that bench, getting them some confidence. You're going to need them at some point, whether it's in Sioux Falls or beyond. Felt got his confidence back a little bit in the South Dakota game, didn't he?
Well, and when it came in a hurry. He's simply as pure a shooter as I've ever been around. I could sit there and watch him shoot for days. He's got terrific form. He's been up and down a little bit this year, but that's life as a three-point shooter. It's going to happen. I know this, that no one felt better than him for being able to step in there, and you could see his teammates really rallied around him as well. That's neat to see. A guy's that's having a little bit of a struggle through part of his senior year. That first TV timeout after Corey dove for a basketball, he was the first one off the bench, and he actually got warned by the ref that he couldn't storm the floor so fast. So certainly not pouting about anything. I know that.
Felt was 5 of 7 from 3 in that South Dakota game, so that's a great sign right there. Now moving to Saturday, you have the conference title wrapped up. How did you approach that in the off day, knowing that maybe you won't play some guys as long as you did in a regular game because you have everything wrapped up? And in fact, before that game, the seeds were all decided. They're really, as far as the conference tournament goes, nothing was on the line in the Denver game.
Well, I went into that game with a plan of resting some people a little more than I did. Darn it, I got competitive and we played our guys. I really, you get involved in a game and you look at your seniors and it's their last chance to play in the BSA. You certainly don't want them to go out with a loss. And they had a look in their eyes like they wanted to grind this thing out too. So we stuck with what got us here for the most part. Got a few more minutes for some other guys, but boy, those seniors just weren't going to lose on their last game in the BSA.
Let's break down some of the highlights from this Denver game. And again, developing the bench. We talked about it, a great crowd. But Jordan Auberg was a story in this game as Marshall set maybe more than he normally would. But Jordan was a big story here.
Yeah, Jordan has really been a terrific terrific addition to us this year. And I say addition because he hasn't been able to physically do that his entire career here with different medical issues that have gone on with him. But he's a kid that really provides us stability, especially if Marshall's struggling a little bit, which doesn't happen very often. There you see there, he's just so long. Good flash in the middle of the court there. We hit him with a good pass, and he's up 2-3 feet above everybody else on that one. Taylor pushing in transition. That's one of Trayvon's 7,000 dunks in the BSA during his career, and it probably was it wasn't his last. He gets one in the second half here too.
Hey, these guys can shoot it, huh?
They're a terrific offensive team. They can get you in a lot of ways from a lot of different players. That's Udofia right there, who's first team all-conference player, very athletic. Hey, who are these guys? Maybe we need to offer them.
Well, that was the Alexandria Aces at halftime. They were pretty entertaining.
There you go. Taylor had a rough first half. That kind of right there kind of got him right back into the game. You see him there, nice dish, and yeah, that's nasty.
Power dunk.
Old Trey, I'll tell you what, there'll be many players that come along after him play in the same position. I don't know if you'll ever find a better dunker. Again, another penetrating kick three there. We need to shore that up if we see them again in the tournament. Marshall getting inside. Again, a guy that finishes at 63% around the hoop, it behooves us to get the ball inside to Marshall as much as we can. I thought Denver didn't double as aggressively in the game as they did the first game, and I think that was in part to give us a little different look, so we're guessing going in to Sioux Falls.
Now, that is a potential matchup. They have to win that 4-5 game, but Denver could be the matchup in the semifinal on Monday night. You know, if that's the case, how do you defend those guys? They were 15 of 31 from three, but on the flip side, offensively, you had 44 points in the paint, so that's kind of how the matchup trended this time. Do you see it happening a third time if you do, in fact, play them?
Well, they certainly have the capability of shooting like that anytime they come out. We've got to do a much better job defending three. They can hurt you in a lot of ways. They spread you out, and now Udofia's dribbling all over the middle. They're a good basketball team. Mm-hmm. And, you know, yeah. you look at them, this is their third league in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's an adjustment. They've had to go through some things. They've done a nice job, and I guarantee you that it's going to be all we can handle down there in Sioux Falls.
Let's break down this bracket now. Now that we know Sioux Falls is here, the bracket is out. You get that bye as the 1 seed, but the 2, 3, 4, IPFW, South Dakota State, Denver, even South Dakota at the 5. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And then you got Jim Molinari, who's a fantastic coach at the 6. So after the top seeded Bison, who get to sit till Monday and wait, there could be some carnage in those in the 3-6 game, the 4-5 game. It's going to be fun. With the depth of the league this year, it's the deepest league that I can remember since we've been in the Summit League. With the depth this year, it certainly sets itself up for a wild tournament in Sioux Falls. I can't say there'd be a whole lot that would shock me that could possibly happen. Being the 1 seed, obviously, I like how we're playing going in, but I also know that it's going to be a real challenge to go down there in that environment and get 2 wins. How do you handle the time off now? Now that you don't play on Saturday or Sunday, you have Monday. It's about a 8-day, give or take a few days there, layoff. It's a long layoff until you play again, isn't it? How do you handle that? Well, we'll model it kind of the same way we modeled it for the week of the South Dakota State game, where there was 7 days off. Have some workouts that are less physically demanding at times, but also have a practice or 2 where you really ramp it up so it feels more like a game type day. You don't want guys sitting around getting too comfortable, but it's a delicate balance. I can say this, I feel better knowing that we came out against South Dakota State after a week layoff and really executed about as well as we could have early in that game. I think when you have a veteran team, there's certain expectations that they'll be able to handle it. They've been through it before. Coaches dream of peaking in March, and this team is peaking in March. How did that transpire, and how confident are you going into the tournament? You have to be very confident. Well, after our preseason, and we got into the conference year, we made it a real point to, at times, back off our guys physically. And the season was longer this year. We've had a couple weeks, 3 weeks at the beginning, 2 weeks at the beginning, where we had more time with our guys. I think with the way our guys look now, I think we spaced it out
okay. I think we did all right with that. But that was a challenge. We were flying blind a little bit, and everybody was. But our guys look fresh right now. I know that.
Good luck to you, Saul. It's fun. It's March. This is fun, isn't it?
Best time of the year.
The Bison are 2 wins away from the big dance. It's going to be fun down in Sioux Falls. They will play Monday night, and then Tuesday night, if they continue to advance in the winner, goes to the big dance. It doesn't get better than this. Enjoy the ride, Bison fans, and we'll see you next time.